Hey. Hello in YouTube land. This is a really good groove, which is sort of like a standard, like classic jazz practice sort of pattern thingy. But comes in very handy for doing like 16ths on the hi-hat. Sorry. Moxie, I don't even have to say silence. So what? You got your little Zeppelin. MOBY DICK. Right? I go to at length in the other videos, but check it out. So a good way to get and maintain, which is good for your playing anyway, if you're all around time and learning really to balance yourself in the chair, is this okay, that is it. Okay, so what happens here? It is a standard jazz vamp thingy. That's a little fast for me. Now here's the thing. I'm not a great player. I think I have some feel stuff going on. I've been working on my technique. But I think I play this sufficiently enough to explain it to you that I can tell you how helpful it is for you. You know what I mean? I'm not like a Dave Weckler, a lot of these other guys that are so good, but sometimes when they do the lesson, they kind of just play it slow, and then and there you go. And sometimes it's hard to believe you can actually do it, because they do it so well. But I can assure you that by practicing this, you will get better. But you need to constantly do it, and take your time to do it, because normally we as drummers or as musicians are often so spazzy or ADD, we'll work on it for 30 seconds and be like, I can't do it, and you go off and you start playing, whatever for the next hour and a half. So, here's the groove. Actually, it goes. So think of it as like 1 E-enda, 2 E-enda, 3 E-enda. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is 12 notes, which is the same as 1 E-enda, 2 E-enda, when you climb up to 1 E-enda, 2 E-enda, 3 E-enda, 1 E-enda, 2 E-enda, 3 E-enda. 1 E-enda, 2 E-enda, 3 E-enda. That's 12. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and. There's 12, okay? So, your right foot and your right hand hit at the same time. See that? So slower. Okay, so 1 E-enda, 2 E-enda, 3 E-enda. Let's see if I can do this. 1 E-enda, 2 E-enda, 3 E-enda. Woo! Okay, 1 E-enda, 2 E-enda, 3 E-enda, okay? Except, do it on the ride. Except, now we get to the juicy beef. Chunky beef, juicy pork, made from the West Coast to New York. All right, here we go. Hi-hat. Instead of going 1 E-enda, 2 E-enda, 3, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So your left foot's going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here we go. Right hand, right foot at the same time. Which is, if you break it to a stick control type left to right sort of thing, but it's only 3. It's not 1 E-enda, 2 E-enda, 3 E-enda, 4 E-enda. Just 1 E-enda, 2 E-enda, 3 E-enda, 1 E-enda, 2 E-enda, 3 E-enda, 1 E-enda, 2 E-enda, 3 E-enda, or with the hi-hat, 1 E-enda, 2 E-enda, 3 E-enda. There's your... Right? Alright. So it would be 1 and 1, 2, 3 and 1, 2, 3 and. If you break that down to 3 nuggets, no, 8th notes. Right, left, left, right. There's your first chunk. Right, left, left, right. Your next chunk is left, left, right, right. And your next chunk is left, right, left, left. So right, left, left, right. Left, left, right, right. God, am I even saying that right? Right, left, left, right. Left, left, right, right. Right, left. Left, right, left, left. So right, left, left, right. Left, left, right, right. Left, right, left, left. Right, left, left, right, left, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, left, left, right, left, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. That's a different version. Hang on. So that's for the 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a, sorry, which is this. Bring the hi-hat in. Sometimes you gotta hit the bell, or I do, because I really need to nail. It's like my friend Ryan always says, practice with the snares off, so you can really hear if you're fudging stuff. Snare wires, that is. Here's the hi-hat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But of course, you start it slow and you practice it. Well, sometimes it's actually easier to start at a mid-tempo if your balance isn't all that good on the stool, because this is very helpful with your balance. You know, you got your butt on the chair, but since your hi-hat pattern's sort of fixed, just doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you sort of have more support with the consistent up and down with your left, because your bass drum is sort of syncopated. So for that balance, it really this helps with that too, in addition to being Bob, 16th note hi-hat guy. When I saw Omar Hacken playing with Sting back, Moxie! That is, in fact, Moxie. Neurotic, worse than myself. Which is a shame. I probably taught her everything I know. So, but Omar Hacken going berserker in the Sting Dream of the Blue Turtles thing, and that concert in Paris. Holy moly, his hi-hats doing the 16ths, like, his hi-hats are sloshing crazy. It's a wonderful thing, and applies to Bonham. But anyway, with me, here's the thing that you have to really be honest with. You have to practice stuff that you're not good at least a lot of the time, because otherwise you'll never get good at it. That's common sense. But the next time you're sitting there, you know, going through in your head, playing, I don't know, let's say some Zeppelin song, we'll say, to be fair, just be like, well, wait a minute, there's a pattern or something I could be working on. All your practice is cumulative. It leads up to something. You actually keep it. It doesn't rewind at the end of the week. I mean, you'll lose little pieces of it. So remember, everything you do, it's like Steve Smith or these guys say, it's like climbing that mountain. Actually, in my opinion, it's not really that you're so much, I mean, you're acquiring stuff, like beats and stuff, but actually what you're doing is you're sort of stripping away your ignorance's karma that keeps you from doing it properly. Let me see if that makes any sense. What I'm saying is, you'll notice the more you practice, what you actually do is you start actually removing physical defects that there's a certain way the sticks move optimally, that you move optimally, and eventually what happens is you sort of figure that out. So I mean, you're acquiring the skill of that, but you're actually learning from your mistakes. Like, oh, I gotta learn. I can't lean too much on that because then I can't do it. You actually have to consistently and constantly, really pay attention to what you're doing when you're working on something new to get better at it. But it happens pretty fast. I could barely do this before, and if I can do it, you can do it. So here we go. Right foot at the same time. Of course, where I was going before I sidetracked myself. With the hi-hat, sometimes when I'm doing that in my balance department, sometimes on the right in there, my hi-hat gets a little shaky. There's a little rush in there, so you got to pay attention to that. This is actually great exercise for your right hand. If you haven't really ever played that much jazz, or where you're not, you're not really bashing on the cymbal there. It's sort of the. It's like you really when you watch these jazz greats, you kind of realize why their hand looked that way for a long time. Because that's how you, when it feels good when you're doing it right, that's how your hand happens to look. My hand kind of looks like that. God knows I'm not a jazz expert by any means. But my point is you'll get, with this practice, not just getting your hi-hat, you'll get this. Instead of like... Now, obviously, I'm trying too fast, but that's how you get better and smoother at it. And then you can slip into like that triplet. You can start farting around with like that drop and stuff. I want to make a video out of my experiences with trying to learn the molar and that drop strokey stuff. I have some observations I think I could throw out there that might be helpful. It's certainly not a, hey, this is exactly how you do it and you do it well, as I'm now playing it so great like Jim Chapin and all these guys. But it's something you actually have to acquire. It doesn't occur to you one day. So there actually is a method to it. Anyway, but I'll get into that in another video, probably the next video. But this is really helpful. I'll figure that out for the next video. Thanks for watching.